Elon Musk is seen as the pioneer of some quite new and trending technological aspects. The first is, of course, Tesla, the company that is pretty much responsible for bringing revolution to the automotive industry. But then, there is SpaceX. With SpaceX, Elon Musk is trying to extend the human reach, and that reach he is trying to extend through the solar system. And he is showing quite a performance with this space company of his. There is some big competition lined up when it comes to SpaceX, and it seems this list is becoming even more extensive with France joining the competition. Yes, shouting out to their core rival SpaceX's name, ESA announced that they are getting into competition with SpaceX. Let's delve a little deeper into that all today. The 21st century started with a big promise of huge developments regarding the field of technology. And then there was also the big dream of getting humans to another planet. The first one is pretty much happening at breakneck speed, when you see the power of technology that has boomed since the century began. But the latter is still in process. And are you aware of which organization is behind this process? Many of you can shout out names like NASA and ESA, but truly they are government organizations with a huge financial backup. But recently, there's been a lot of development conducted by private companies. Among them, the top name is of course SpaceX. SpaceX is arguably the most well-known private space company. The company has created a ton of hype since it was founded in 2002 by billionaire entrepreneur Elon Musk. Elon Musk launched SpaceX with the goal of enabling the colonization of Mars. Though this sounds like a far-fetched goal, the company has made some impressive progress. SpaceX is the first commercial company to carry humans to the International Space Station. But that's not the most impressive thing about SpaceX. The most impressive thing is that SpaceX is trying to cause as little space debris as possible with their new reusable rocket models. Elon Musk seized the day when a fully fledged space rocket costs less than many homes. The outspoken billionaire said SpaceX's work on a fully reusable rocket is well underway, calling the end goal a fundamental breakthrough, the Holy Grail. Musk is now spending most of his time on the project known as Starship. If this comes to fruition, it will make rockets and their launch cost a fraction of what they are now. So, how much cost reduction are we actually talking about here? Our best case scenario is $15 million in cost per launch, and Falcon is about half to a third the cost of alternatives. With Starship, it could be 1% the cost of an expendable system, Musk said. The marginal cost of launch, we think, could be under $1 million, with 10 times the payload of Falcon 9. But don't begin to assume that the Starship rockets will be the only rockets that will feature the reusability option. The current Falcon 9 rockets are also reusable, actually. In fact, Falcon 9 is the world's very first orbital-class reusable rocket. This reusability allows SpaceX to offer many lower-cost options to companies wanting to gain access to space. Since 2015, when SpaceX first launched their Falcon 9 rocket into the atmosphere, a revolution of journeys into outer space spurred, and the CO2 footprint of rocket launches began. Here's what Elon Musk had to say about the reusability of rockets. If one can figure out how to effectively reuse rockets, just like airplanes, the cost of access to space will be reduced by as much as a factor of 100. A fully reusable vehicle has never been done before. That really is the fundamental breakthrough needed to revolutionize access to space. So, with quite a strong portfolio, SpaceX caught the attention of the world without being too flashy. And this helped them to get busy. But as SpaceX achieves more and more success, their competitors' list keeps getting longer, it seems. The latest addition to that list is the European Space Agency, or ESA. France is investing in the creation of a light reusable launch vehicle in order to resist competition in the space launch market, including from the American SpaceX. This was stated by the Minister of Economy, Finance and Reconstruction of France, Bruno Le Maire, at a press conference recently. European space company Ariane Group will develop a reusable mini-launcher to compete with the likes of Elon Musk's SpaceX, said the minister. The launcher must be able to be operational by 2026, Le Maire said during a trip to the Ariane Group at Vernon in Normandy, where the engines of Ariane rockets are tested. Ariane Group, a joint venture of European Airbus and Spanish Safran, is the primary contractor behind the European space program, providing its family of Ariane launch vehicles to the European Space Agency, ESA, and to private companies. The French government space agency CNES partnered up with Ariane Group in 2019 to develop new launchers, including reusable ones. ESA signed a contract with Ariane Group late last year to build a reusable rocket stage demonstrator, which should be ready for demonstration by 2022. The ultimate goal of the program is to accelerate European reusable launch technology to the point where it can become competitive in the global launch market in the 2030s. We missed a round of developments of returnable carriers which we did not expect, and lagged behind our American partners, in particular SpaceX, who developed the Falcon 9. We must reduce this backlog, the minister said. He again pointed to the large government investments in SpaceX which allowed them to make a breakthrough in the development of technology. Ariane Group will launch its own project of reusable mini-rockets. For the first time, Europe will have access to such media. This will allow us to catch up with SpaceX, Le Maire said. In addition, the French corporation should receive support for the start of operation of a new generation of Ariane 6 launch vehicles. The Ariane Group should also develop micro-launch vehicles, and the French authorities will consider raising funds to support their production by the end of this year. We must join forces and put differences in the past in order to be able to compete with our American partners and future Chinese partners, with Russian partners, the minister said. European vehicles should be put into orbit by European launch vehicles. The United States prefers American carriers, the Chinese prefer Chinese. Europe should adopt this approach, Le Maire said. In other words, we will have our SpaceX, we will have our Falcon 9. We will make up for a bad strategic choice made 10 years ago, he added. The new plan calls for the large France-based firm Ariane Group to develop a new small-lift rocket called Maya by the year 2026. The development is to take place in a newly founded subsidiary of Arianespace called Maya Space in Vernon, France, where parts of the Ariane 6 and French ICBMs for the military are also manufactured. Although the technical details are sparse, Maya will not be Europe's Falcon 9. It will have a lift capacity of up to 1 metric ton to low Earth orbit, and be powered by a reusable Prometheus rocket engine, which is fueled by methane and liquid oxygen. This engine, which remains in the preliminary stages of development, has a thrust comparable to a single Merlin 1D rocket engine, which powers SpaceX's Falcon 9 rocket. But since there are 9 engines on the SpaceX rocket, it can lift more than 15 times as much as the proposed Maya in fully reusable mode. While the deadline is tight, the Ariane Group said it was doable because its engineers were not starting from scratch. The technology has already been tested on the Themis reusable rocket demonstrator, while the Prometheus low-cost reusable engine will also feed the Maya project. Rebuilding France's competitiveness in space was a goal set by President Emmanuel Macron in October when he announced the company's €30 billion investment plan dubbed France 2030. It reaffirms France's commitment to foresting, reindustrialization and innovation in a range of fields, and to preventing a loss of skills. But it seems that ESA will have to push a bit harder than just announcing new reusable rockets, as SpaceX is showing some great developments. Tesla founder Musk's SpaceX achieved the first successful touchdown of its prototype Starship rocket during the latest test flight of the next generation launch vehicle in May. So, that's all folks. Be sure to like and subscribe for more, and we'll see you in another video. Ta-ra!